Welcome back to the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. We're brought to you by Yak Gadget. For all your kayak fishing accessory needs, go to yakgadget.com. Pelican cases, coolers, and lighting. Go to pelican.com. The 153 Bait Company. For all your hard and soft bait needs, go to the153anglers.com. Now let's get this show started.
What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another edition of Chasing the Tide, your saltwater connection on the Paddle and Fin Podcast Network. I'm your host, Dustin Nichols. Tonight, we got a pretty cool show going on. Got a Texas guest on tonight. Things have been going pretty good over here. It's getting close to the end of October. The fish are definitely on the move. We're definitely in some transitional patterns here with the, they don't call it Red October for no reason. Plenty of redfish to go around, definitely bunching up, grouping up, moving around. Trout bite seems to start to be turning on a little bit. The water's cooling off, and we'll just hope that pattern continues. And we'd like to see some good stuff after that post-freeze. So we're not going to talk about that anymore. We're going to go ahead and bring our guest on tonight. We got Captain Mike Morales from Fin Factory on the show tonight. What's going on, man? How you doing this evening?
Hey, how's it going, Dennis?
It's going good. Okay? It's going good, man. It looks like you're enjoying that beautiful outdoor weather right there on the island. You're down in Corpus Christi, Texas.
Yeah, that's right. No, yeah, definitely. I mean, it's been a good couple of days of weather. Let me say that. But previous to the last 3 or 4 days, it's been horrible. But so it's good to get a little calmness.
Yeah. We've had some northeast flow like the first few days of the week, kind of blowing pretty good. And then the past couple of days up north, I'm a little further north. We've had some pretty good days up here. I've been working and just looking at conditions and beach cams and stuff. I'm like, oh, man, for real? The weather stations looking at the wind and the tidal movement and stuff. And I'm like, man, I would have loved to have been on the water. Hopefully I'm gonna hit it tonight on that full moon overhead bite. Yeah. So hopefully we're gonna try to stalk some trout tonight. Get mad at them a little bit. I've worked all week, so I'm gonna go get after them for a little while. But
that sounds normally, like fun.
Yeah, I know. Top water blow-ups under a full moon are kind of tough to beat.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's been a long time since I've had the luxury to be able to do that, but the trout bite has picked up a little bit, so that's been really, really good. It was tough for a long time after the freeze, and we're starting to see some comebacks. So it's exciting. It
is from what I've seen recently in some areas of like the fall haunts to where they kind of start setting up before the winter sets in. I've caught quite a few good fish in the last few weeks and starting to see fish in their normal areas, which was a good thing because over the summer, I really didn't catch many nice trout at all. It was kind of tough. Even down south fishing the lower Laguna and all that, kind of a struggle. You pick up a fish here and there, but it wasn't like pre-freeze. You could definitely tell a difference, big time. Well, cool deal, man. Well, usually we start out the show with a short intro and stuff, and you just give everybody a little information about yourself. What you've been up to, what got you in that kayak, and also, give them some info about the store and everything we're going to talk about here. All right.
Yeah. I mean, so as far as me, I'm Mike Morales. I've been in the kayak and fishing game, professionally since really 2011, 2012, kind of that thing. And I've been here in Corpus, pretty much half of my life. Went to college here, moved away to Dallas, chased the corporate ladder, came back after 15 years, and I've been back in Corpus now for since 2011. So coming back to Corpus, got into the whole kayak scene early on. Started off early with the the old ocean kayak, little 9-footers that were out there, and started off with that. It just kind of grew from there. Got into Hobie, grew into Hobie, and fast forward now, own a couple of Hobie kayak shops, and man, just enjoying it. We've had the guide service now since 2012. Kayak started off kayak guide service since 2012, and then got into the boat scene 2015. So been doing a mix of both, and it's been awesome. It's been a long journey, but it's definitely been rewarding.
Yeah, that's y'all. How long is Fin Factory, the original store in Corpus? Y'all started out in a location and y'all ended up building another one?
So we started off
recently.
Yeah, so we started off in 2016 in Corpus. We didn't build, but we kind of moved into a space off of the main drive here in Corpus, headed to the island, and it's a 900 square foot place, and recently, about 6 months ago, 5 months ago, we moved into a new place in Corpus Prime, and we've been able to grow the shop to a good, decent space to where we can really showcase, all of our kayaks, not just Hobie, but Hoodoo, Boat, Live, Paddle Sports, all those different things. So, yeah, we've been in the new shop now for 4 months. We started the Fin Factory down in the RGV in Mercedes, Texas, between basically Brownsville and McAllen in 2020, at the beginning of 2020. And so that's been kind of a struggle for a little bit, but it's finally kind of turning the corner, and things are looking good. So, we've been in the kayak business now since really 2016.
Oh, that's cool. You got that second store open down there in the valley, and it seems like the kayak craze is grown in leaps and bounds down there also. With the abundant, potholes, grass flats and everything like that, shallow water fishery flats and everything. Accessibility of a kayak is just what really, the main thing that draws people in is like the affordability, the people want to get in and just start out with a paddle kayak, and then all of a sudden they're like, man, what's up with these guys with these pedal drives and these Hobies scooting around everywhere? Then eventually you like sell that one to somebody that might be starting out just like you did, and then you upgrade and kind of upgrade on up, work your way up to the top, and it kind of, it's like a cycle, a vicious cycle, if you say. It's an addictive cycle, I can say that. So, the store in Mercedes, right? Yeah. Okay, cool.
It's in Mercedes, Texas.
The good little deal going down there in the valley right now with that 956 group. They do some good stuff down there. If anybody familiar, that's the area code down there, and they got a good little kayak club down there. Been putting on some events, and y'all had a couple events down there. There's been some good stuff going on. So, the store itself, y'all sell tackle and all that kind of good stuff too, right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean we're a full-fledged.
Y'all a full-fledged shop.
Yeah, we're a full-fledged shop. I mean, we started off small, like I said. My biggest thing getting into the kayak business, which is something really I've never really even imagined doing. That wasn't even in my wheelhouse. That's not what I wanted to do. I've been in retail for a long time, corporate retail. Been in big box shops, specialty retail. That was kind of my career path at the corporate level, and I did that for nearly 20 years before anything. So being in a corporate retail environment really helped me understand the business of retail in general. So my goal was to get out of retail and do something entirely different, and I did. I got out of retail, did something entirely different, and got into oil and gas, with some family members down here in South Texas, and retail came calling back, and then Hobie came knocking on my door about potentially opening a retail business here in Corpus, and that's kind of how it happened. So my idea about our shop was just, hey, we're going to be brand specific, we're going to be very specific to kayak, and we're going to have all the accessories that I think are popular to everybody, and it just kind of grew from there. And now we're into, all the tackle, the soft plastics, hard baits, rods, reels, fly. Fly is one of my extreme passions. So we're trying to really dig into the fly industry as well. But man, retail's tough. I mean, retail in general is tough, and being at the corporate level and big box is way different than being small mom and pop competing with other small mom and pop. It's like, God, almighty. There's some people go really bananas about it, and so that has been kind of our struggle, is the growing pains of it, and understanding the politics,
right?
And small mom, it's ridiculous, but it's there, and we're finally, like I said, I feel like we've really made an impression, not just here locally, but within the state and even nationally, to be recognized as an outfitter than just a retailer. So
right, y'all are truly like a kayak and fishing outfitter, for sure. Yeah, and not only that, y'all do amazing rigging work, and then you have the guide services also. That you have skiffs and kayaks. You get plenty of. You have different guides that work for you also besides yourself.
Yeah, so I mean, it's our biggest thing from a guide standpoint is that obviously it's hard to find. So those people who have kind of booked guides in the past, I mean, there's everybody has their own, their own way of guiding. To me, there's a lot of different ways to guide. There's a lot of different guides. There's a lot of different services for guides. And so, when you have a guide service, you have an impression of your mind of what you want to be and what you don't want to be. I think a lot of people that have built, that have booked trips with guides in the past, way past, it's usually an old salt and the guide's real grumpy, and you go fishing and this is how you're going to do it. I'm going to throw the damn rod for you. You're going to catch fish. I'm going to hand the rod over to you. So for me, my thing was that I'm never going to do that. Yeah. People are spending their hard-earned money to come fish, and I'm going to treat them like that. Dude, you're giving me, a good paycheck, and I'm going to treat you like gold. And sometimes it's hard to find somebody to have that same idea of how to treat people when you do a guide trip. So, we've tried some of these things in the past. It didn't work, but, we actually do have a really good guide that works with me now, who's actually an employee here at the shop. His name is Joshua Tooley, Captain Joshua Tooley. Young guy, man. The guy is awesome. Everybody loves him. When they come in the shop, the guy can speak to everything related to fishing. Yeah. And he's a great person as far as relating to people and having great customer service skills. And so for me, that was the most important piece. So yes, we do have a guide service with a guide team now that I can really say that we do that. And, we're all about providing service.
Yeah, that's cool. You find somebody like-minded that's knowledgeable of not only about the accessories and brands that y'all carry, but also about the waters that y'all fish, that's a big part of being on that water, is learning the areas and what the fish are doing and all that. But that's cool. You got somebody you can trust. That's your business. Yeah. That's your bread and butter right there.
Exactly.
So I see where you can get off on a tangent on that about, man, we got to have somebody that lines up right with my line of thinking. Yeah. So right on with that. But cool. So what y'all do offer like fly guiding on a powered skiff also. And then y'all have kayak services also. You want to kind of touch on a little bit on that, so listeners can know what's going on.
So our biggest thing, and the way I started this thing, is that we want to tailor a trip around the customer. Instead of having a cookie cutter approach to going out there and doing a guide trip, you've got beginners. Obviously, you've got people that are kind of in the middle of the road. You got people that want to improve their game. You got people that just want to learn spots. You got people who want to learn how to fly fish. So our biggest thing is you got people who want to go out offshore on a kayak. So our thing is trying to tailor a trip around that person's skill set, number one, and number two, around what it is they want to accomplish on their trip. So I can tell you that during the summer, we got people that just want to get out in the water and have a good time. They've never been on a kayak. They've never, they don't know the difference between a Hobie and a Wilderness or a Jackson or whatever. They just want to go catch a fish on a kayak. So, and then during these times we got some more of the upper echelon people who want to do a certain thing. So, that's kind of how we do things. So we do motor, powered skiffs. I'm a Hell's Bay guide, so to speak. I'm sanctioned by Hell's Bay, so we go out there and we do the technical poling skiff stuff. If you want to fly fish, we definitely will go out there and do that. That boat is designed for that. But don't get me wrong, I'll put some live shrimp on that Hell's Bay and we'll go put a popping cork out there if that's what you want to do.
Right.
So, or that's what your skill set is. So that's kind of our mantra. We don't just try to stick to one thing where we're going to go out here and we're going to fish this flat. We're going to throw top water. That's all we're going to do.
Yeah.
No, we try to mix it all in to make sure that at the end of the day, the customer walks away with a great experience and maybe they learned something, and more importantly, just having a great time.
Yeah.
So from a kayak standpoint, which is where I started, which was kayak fishing and kayak guiding. Our biggest thing right now, or really in general, since we started the shop, is not only going out and kayak fishing, but also providing, the tools for them that are going to make them successful. So let's just say, for instance, I have a customer that wants to go out and he goes, you know what, Mike, I'm really thinking about buying a Hobie Pro Angler 360.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure if I really want to put that much money down on it, and I want to make sure I can fish it. Well, hell, let's go out and do a guided trip. I'm going to bring out a Hobie 360 for you.
Yeah.
And we're going to go out there and fish it. And guess what? If you like that 360 and you want to buy it, $100 of your trip is going to go towards the 360 when you're done. And if you don't want it, hey, I understand. It's not the right boat for you. Maybe the Outback's right. So that's what I think, where we also have kind of an advantage over maybe some other guide services or what other kayak shops are doing, is that if you want to actually go out there and not just demo it but fish it, let's go out there and do it.
Go out there and fish it. And part of your trip will go towards that purchase if you decide to purchase. That's a pretty cool deal right there.
Exactly.
Yeah, for sure. And then not only the guide services and all the other gear and outfitting items y'all do a lot of custom rigging there also.
Absolutely.
With marine mat, I believe. Correct.
Oh yeah, we do everything. I mean, from marine mat, we're also just recently we've had talks with like a Louisiana Kayak company that does some really custom stuff to try to get involved with them. But we've done everything from
Brock Miller's got a good little thing going. Him and his guy over there, Louisiana Custom Kayaks, yes sir. Yeah. Brock's been on the show before. A good kid, man. They got some
awesome,
good stuff going on too. Yeah. So but that's cool. Y'all offer all those services,
from mats
and
to lights to hell. We've even put sound bars on kayaks.
Sound bars, light bars, install the fish finders. I know y'all are a Torpedo dealer also. And the shift towards powering your kayak is definitely upon us.
Oh yeah.
I was wanting to get your outlook on the increase in those you've seen over the past couple of years, if you have noticed a little.
Oh man, that's been the biggest thing for us, especially in the last year and a half, is that power has been. I think that it's really it's even gotten even more in the last year or so, since tournaments have allowed power in their tournaments, and I think that was a great move. I can tell you, a year ago, I'd say, hell no, we're not putting power in our tournaments, but it's the way people are going, and good for them. And Torpedo, we've been a Torpedo dealer since we pretty much the first year we started with Fin Factory. It's been a great relationship. I think Torpedo is probably one of the most premier power that you can put on your kayak. But there's a lot of great companies that have come along the way, from Texas Power Paddle to Bixby to Torpedo, and we can talk about some others. But I think the fact that now tournaments are being more lenient in allowing of these items to help you have a little bit better, and I wouldn't say, I want to be careful when I say advantage, but to give you an edge. Yes. To get out there and go a little bit longer to find that fish that you need to win a tournament, I think is huge.
Yeah.
And so, and I see that as being the wave of the future. And I think kayak manufacturers out there that haven't really invested in power are really thinking about doing it. And I think we're going to see some really cool stuff for the next year or so.
Yeah, or the kayak companies that don't have, kayaks that are set up to be rigged accordingly,
right?
With hole access ports and different things like that.
Mm-hmm.
That makes rigging a lot easier because, as a shop, you don't bring your kayak into a shop. You're going to pay a premium. You're going to pay labor costs, and then the accessories and supplies that you have to use. Which there's a lot of DIY out there also. Mm-hmm. But to have your kayak done by a professional rigging shop, I mean, that stuff is going to be so clean, and y'all do some really clean work. I've been really impressed with y'all's rigging y'all do. You kind of see some stuff out there every now and then, you're like, oh, okay. What just happened there? But yeah,
thumbs up.
Yeah, thumbs up on that, man. Y'all do some clean work over there, and you know what? I'm factory level Jackson. I'm the team manager for the South region, and I mean, people ask about our boats too, and then they, you got guys that might, hey, well, what's the Hobie dealer? I send them y'all's way. Hey, I'm not we all in this together. It's how it is. I mean, people are going to want. Some people might want a Jackson. Some people might want a Hobie. The guys that want a Hobie, where I'm sending them to the fin factory. I mean, down in this area, that's where they're going.
I'm like you, man. I'm all about being an ambassador to the sport in general.
Yep.
Hell, I've owned Jacksons. I've owned Ocean Kayaks. I've owned Liquid Logic. I mean, I've owned a lot of different kayaks in my time, and you know what? I love them all. All of them have special qualities, and some of them, have opportunities. It could be Hobie, Jackson, whoever. So there's no perfect kayak out there, in my opinion. It's what you like and what you intend to use it for is what I think is important. So
definitely what they're going to use it for, and go out there and get in it and demo things. That's the main thing. Don't just go jump in something just because so-and-so said so.
Yeah, exactly.
For sure.
Hey, try it before you buy it, baby.
Exactly.
That's my thing. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, y'all have a pretty good run going on this tournament series you guys started, which was a split series, which was the really cool concept, and that's what kind of drew a lot of people into it. The Ray Del Mar series. That first year was when was the first year that kicked off? Was that 18?
That was but
18.
It was 18. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and you know what? We had a good first year, and of course we were piggybacking on the successes of the Blue Water Kayak Classic, which is something I competed in before. I loved I loved it. I loved the people who represented the Blue Water Kayak Classic. Of course, some of the founders of that; those guys are awesome. And, when I talked to them about bringing Blue Water Kayak Classic back, of course, there was some backlash about the name and stuff, and it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to provide an opportunity for somebody to come out and do the offshore thing. And I don't know who it was. I don't know if it was me or somebody said, well, why don't we make it like an offshore and an inshore? There we go. And so, it started off great. Luckily, the first year we had great weather for both the offshore and the inshore. And, it's the tournament that I really enjoy putting on every year. Of course, putting on a tournament is a lot of work. And I think some people, oh my God, if you want to do it right, it takes months and months and months of preparation, politicking, elbow rubbing. I mean, there's a lot of things that go into making a tournament really successful and make it formidable,
Yeah, those sponsors just don't pop up on a magic platter.
No.
You got to put the work in for them. You got to, months and 6-8 months in advance, you got to be emailing and coordinating and corresponding with marketing people, especially the bigger companies.
Exactly, man. I mean, you got to do a lot, we have an advantage obviously because we are a retailer for a lot of these vendors, and I could tell you, I even use the guide service. Hey, come on, we'll give you a free guide trip if you come out and just help us a little bit with this tournament. Yeah. Trust me, I mean, we do a lot to make sure that at the end of the day, as a competitor, you guys we feel that, man, this is something, and to me, it's important, So yeah, man. I mean, Radar Mar 2019, we started it, or 2018. It's been strong every year. This is the first year where we actually had to switch gears and make it an inshore just because of the offshore conditions. And that's one thing that I've always said, doing the offshore stuff for many, many years, man, I'm never going to do something and try to put somebody's
the liability involved in that is like insane. We had an active storm offshore, and it was 6 to 8 foot seas with big surf, overhead surf, and it would have been chaos. It would
have been horrible. And you know what? The year before we did the Radar Mar, the Extreme division came over here. And I competed in the
Extreme Kayak Series.
I was there, and they did that damn tournament. And it was freaking horrible. And I was like, God, right, this man. And I learned from that. And those guys are great. I love the people who turn on, who put on the Extreme Kayak division. I've competed in the Bahamas tournaments. I've done those, and I have a lot of respect for those folks. But that was a bad decision to keep that tournament going, and it could have been really bad. And luckily, I think the Coast Guard stepped in like at 11 a.m. I was there, and everybody had to get off the water. But I told myself I would never do that, and I don't care what it costs, and I don't care how much commitments we've made to vendors or whatever. Man, if it ain't right, it ain't right.
Yeah.
And so this was the first year where we actually had to make that call.
It worked out well, though. Yes,
it worked out well. The inshore, we had over 500 pounds of redfish turned in for that tournament, I think.
Yeah.
And, man, it was a good time, and I think everybody enjoyed it. And for me, that's all. To me, a tournament's cool, and you have some real hardcore competitors that want to win cash. But for me, the biggest thing is making sure we get everybody together, man. And let's talk, and let's sit down and have fun, and shit, the person you saw on Facebook, and you've always followed them, and you see them in person and put your arm around them. It's like, man, I really like what you do. I mean, to me, that's the most important thing.
That camaraderie is
the camaraderie.
Big. That was a big draw for me, was just meeting everybody from all areas, all walks of life. I mean, lawyers, judges, professors, doctors. Yeah. Plant workers, all of us.
All of us. I mean,
all of us are right there. Yeah.
And to me, that's the reason why I put tournaments together. Trust me, we don't make hardly anything on these tournaments, man. For me, it's all about giving it back to you guys or giving it back to competitors, taking care of the people that are helping me, because I can tell you that, everybody that you see at our tournaments, 90% of them, man, are doing it out of their heart. I'm not paying them anything. Hell, they're sleeping on the floor in my house. A lot of those folks, man.
Volunteering.
The biggest thing they get is a badass dinner. I'll maybe barbecue for them or take them to a restaurant. Man, that's what we do.
Yeah.
And I think it's important,
That's
because
true.
If we want to continue building this sport and building kayak fishing in general, I mean, it takes sacrifice, and that's what we're all about.
Yeah, we gotta go. We got to get back to some good roots and do we just got to do a big giant boondoggle one.
Exactly.
We got to do a Texas boondoggle, like a Texas coastal boondoggle. We need to get that going.
Dude,
there's been some good ones over the years all over the country.
I want to do a boondoggle so bad. When I went to the boondoggle in Louisiana, man, I was like blown away. I thought it was fantastic. There was no, it was just a good time, man. We had vendors there, and you know what? I think we can do that here. I know we can do that here.
I know it can get pulled off. We get a bunch of people involved in core group and that are serious about it. And I bet even some of the old salts would come on out.
I know, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I know we can pull off an amazing, and I tell all the vendors this. I tell Hobie, I tell, Yakima and Torquedo, I said, man, Warner Paddle. We're going to have an event down here on the Gulf Coast. One day, 1 year, that's going to be just so amazing. It's going to bring people to the area. It's going to bring commerce. It's going to bring notoriety to your brand in the sport. And one day we're going to do it, man, but it's going to take people. It's going to take people like you and I who are like-minded, that we can get out there and actually pull people together to do it.
Yep. Promote this the right way and get it done.
Mm-hmm.
That's something after we wrap this podcast up and finish this, I think we're going to have to revisit this topic here, because
I agree.
I think I would be freaking ecstatic if we could get something like that rolling and pull it off in the next year or so. I think we could get something going, for sure. Well, the Radio Mar also is. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
If it could be done in Metairie, Louisiana, man, come on.
Oh,
we can do it in
Texas. It can be done on the flats of the Laguna Madre. I think that would be insane. I mean, there's plenty of room there. We can put people all over the water. There's plenty of area to launch there along the JFK. I mean,
exactly.
You could set up right there on that with tents along the road, right there on that access road.
Dude,
I'm telling you, we need to think about this big time.
That's exactly what I was thinking. Hey, man, when I'm driving over the JFK and I see your truck parked right there in Sulphur Flats, it's like, man, that's my bad.
Nah, it's all good. That is
the shoreline. That is the shoreline where we're going to have boondoggle one year. I promise
you.
I promise you.
Guarantee it. That will be the place to do it there. That will be a location to be had right there.
Yeah. Exactly.
Get the possibly get the tourism board involved. You can get something else, Padre Island Association or whoever that could be.
Yep.
I agree. Jump on with it and then have this thing. They'll probably say, "What's a boondoggle?"
For everybody on this, whoever's watching this, there's a lot of folks that don't know what boondoggle is, and boondoggle was awesome, man. It was like an ICAST for everybody, in my opinion. It was cool. It was just down to earth, people having a good time. It was all about kayak fishing, man. So I want to do that.
Kayak fishing, all thrown in. Yeah, it just, man, that's
exactly.
I'm talking about. Yeah, that's gonna get visited upon here. But y'all not only do y'all have Radio Mars an event, but y'all offer an exclusive Hobie owners only tournament, which brings the Hobie owners all across from the state of Texas to come down there and compete. Redfish for a chance to get a spot on the team and everything, and then associated with the pro staff with the Fin Factory, which is pretty cool. So I mean, I want to say, how many guys did y'all have this year that competed in that one?
So we had 99.
I was gonna say it's 100 or over 100. It's right there.
Yeah, it was 99 exactly. The year before was 140 or so. And the year before that, it was like 67. And the first time we did it was 20. So, I think that the Hobie Owners Tournament is something to me it's super special because it's a risk to do the Hobie Owners Tournament because you just never know. But for me, again, I mean, I think that, Hobie, and again, Hobie, Jackson, it doesn't matter who it is. You love your plastic. You know what I'm saying? And you want to compete in your plastic. And I think that's, for me personally, when I first got into the kayak scene back in 2000, there was nothing like that. And so you have like these boat, like Mayak Owners Tournament, and you have the Showwater Owners Tournament. I said, one day I'm gonna do that for kayaks. And we've done it. And it's gotten a lot of attention. And I think that every year it gets better and better.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to the next one. I think a lot of people are also. A lot of people want to get that crown and they want to be on the Hobie fishing team, and rightfully so, because, when I got on the Hobie fishing team, you had to become like really a good liaison with your local dealer, and it was a lot about who's who and all that stuff. And for me, being a Hobie kayak dealer, I have a lot of friends, man. Like, and I've been fishing with everybody. I mean, I fish with everybody that's out there for the most part, all you guys, and we've all fished together. And people come, hey, man, Mike, I'm I want to be in the open fish. I said, you know what, man? And this is why I started. I said, we're going to make it competitive because I just can't. I can't say this person or that person. We're going to make it competitive the way it should be. And if you're a good person, you do the right thing on social media, and you really care about the sport, and you compete in the tournament and you win it, man, you deserve it, in my opinion.
Oh,
you know? And so that's why I did it, was because of that. Because, we got a lot of friends in the industry, and I want to be friends to everybody. And the only way I can make it fair is to just make it competitive, you know?
Well, cool deal. Well, I know 2022, looking forward to that. Ray Del Mar, the Hobie Owners Tournament presented by Fin Factory. I'm sure they'll be coming up later in the year. Y'all keep a lookout for that Facebook post. Y'all can follow Fin Factory on Facebook. They've got it scrolling across the bottom of the screen there. You can follow Captain Mike at Mike Mo 50. And then Fin Factory Kayak Tackle that's the Instagram handles there. But yeah, we're just gonna keep rolling a little bit. Got a few more questions for you tonight, and
Cool.
Try to let everybody meet the man himself. It's been awesome events, dude. I've had such a good time at every event. The radio, obviously, I'm not a Hobie owner, so I fish that one unless I'm boring. Maybe Matt Murphy or Tracy Devon. Yeah. Tracy, I got you you got an extra kayak for me, I hope.
That's all you need, man. You don't need to own it. You just can't steal it. That's all.
Just can't steal it. There you go. So, fishing lately, being that you do guide also, you're on the water a lot. Time on the water, you see things that other people might not. So, the status of the bay system down there post freeze. I know the redfish were still crazy down there. I fished down there quite a few times this year, and the redfish, in the early spring into May, June, July. I mean, it was just crazy. And then the summer crowds kind of made them spread back out a little more, and the grass kind of grew over all the potholes. But the trout are kind of few and far between.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if, going into the fall transition right now, if you're starting to see a few more fish here and there, because I am in my areas, I was just insight on that, being you're on the water a lot down there.
Yeah, so the trout was tough. I mean, it was tough, after the freeze. It's been tough. I can tell you that over the last, I want to say 30 days, we've seen a significant rise in trout. I mean, we've caught a lot of trout. Obviously, it's still the same. A lot of 14s, a lot of dinks. But we've had some really good trout, mixed in there. Some good 20s, upper 20s, mid 20s. They're not as frequent as we've seen in years past, but that's to be expected. The redfish, it's been a weird year for fishing just in general. I'm just going to shoot you straight. I mean, so it was good for most of the summer when the winds cooperated on the kayak.
Right.
Hell, getting out there was just tough. I had to cancel or postpone a lot of trips, because of the weather conditions in general. So the fishing was pretty good when we had the opportunity to actually get out there and do it. From a redfish standpoint, trout wise, not so much. And any trout that we caught, it was going back, period. And then we had a kind of a cold snap here recently. You remember that about 3 or 4 weeks ago, maybe a month ago? A little bit further than that.
And they knocked the water down to the 77, 78.
A little tiny cold snap.
It was a good one, for this time of year.
Yeah, it was decent, But, man, to me, it had a huge impact on the fishing. For me, personally, for guide fishing, I had a tough time, man. It was tough. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that combined with the high water then just pushed up, Right now, we've had high water now for going for 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely making some issues and all that with the high water for sure.
All right, can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, you might have just sometimes it's a little stuck. But yeah, that hot water's been an issue with the fall equinox tides and this time of year.
Yeah,
it's been kind of weird. Yeah, that definitely spreads the fish
so we
out
have
a lot more.
the little cold water snap.
Yep.
The cold water snap, just a little change in the degree of water temperature. High water, man, has made things really tough in the year already. And typically around this earlier, I'll start seeing big schools. And I'm not talking about big schools of, I'm talking about bull reds in the bay. Like, I start to see these way before I hadn't seen them yet until the last couple of days. I've been it's a big school range of fish. So it's turning on like right now. I mean, which is real late, from
it's a little behind. It's definitely a little bit behind.
Trout are there. You can find them. It's to me, it's way behind from what I've seen. Something special right now. I wish there were some tournaments going on because you'd be surprised. There's some good fish up there right now.
Oh yeah, there's some good fish. Yeah. Like that's Red October. It's definitely a little bit behind, but we had a little bit of rain.
Mm-hmm. It is, man.
That rain in July kind of messed up the bay systems around me a little bit for a little while, and then we had a good rain the week before last, but it really didn't affect it too bad. But some of the areas kind of got washed out. But the flounder recently has been insane over here in the marsh. It's just one of them. Last year was the same way too, and it's just like, man, I haven't caught that many flounder in 5 years that I've caught this year. It's insane. So, man, that's a good thing to hear that it's kicking back up and coming around. Starting to see some more trout in the area. And normally on the show, I kind of throw a question out there. It's called Pick 3. I was wanting to get your input on 3 setups that you're going to have with you on a trip. Say you're going out tomorrow, fall transition time. Speckled trout is what your target species is. Say trout and redfish, mixed bag. 3 rods, 3 setups. What's going to be on?
So I'm a bait caster guy. That's just the bottom line. Bait caster guy. Typically, I'll use an H&H backcountry rod. I'm a lose guy from a spinning standpoint. I'm not sponsoring anything by anybody, but I like lose. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. We good.
I lost it. So 2 bait casters. I'm a lose guy. I like the old school lose BB1 with the clicker drag. So you'll find lose BB1s on my H&H backcountry rods. What I have tied onto them, first and foremost, I always have 3/16 ounce jig head by Z-Man. Those are my favorite ones. I'm not sponsored or anything. I just love them.
Yeah.
And I like paddlers from Z-Man. I like the paddlers. Right now, the pinfish are bad, man. Pin perch are horrible. So if you're throwing anything that's more of a harder plastic, you're going to lose tails. You're going to go through bags. So do yourself a favor and get you an Elastic Z-Man. Use those guys, and you can wade through those guys and really pick off some good trout. I'm working a heavier weight. I like to get my baits down, so I'll use a 3/16, so 1/8 ounce to get that bait down, So you'll find that definitely on my setup number 1. That's what I go to. As far as the color of choice, man, Houdini. Houdini is my favorite color. Houdini, man, Houdini. You get a Houdini paddler, Houdini diesel minnow, man. It is just lightning for me. Other people like other colors. I like Houdini. Even today, smoked them on Houdini. Okay,
it's a good all-around color, just in general. Yep. Tough
for my second bait caster that I've already told you about, I'm going to tie on a spoon for that redfish. Bagley spoon, 1/2 ounce, swivel top. I mean, man, you can't beat a spoon, man. Spoon is the oldest lure in history since biblical times. If anything of all else fails, just put a spoon on. You're going to catch something.
You can put that in the hands of a beginner and just, hey, just throw it out there and reel it in steady and just kind of pause it every now and then. And
that's what I do a lot of times with customers who want to learn the art of lure throwing. We're going to start with the spoon. We're going to work up. Just reel it in. And if you want to start getting the bump, retrieve, bump, you can do that with the spoon. They'll hit it on the drop.
They sure
and then the last
rod
thing
out your hand.
The last thing is a spinning rod for a popping cork. Man, I'm a popping cork guy. Yeah. Popping cork, I'm going to tie either a Z-Man Easy Shrimp on there. Really any plastic you put on a pop. Sometimes you just need to slow it down. The popping cork of choice is the Woody Popping Cork by Phillips Tackle. My favorite. These guys are awesome. Man, they got a good tone, and the damn corks will last forever. Yeah. You don't have to ever change that foam cork out. You got the wood, and it'll stay there. So sometimes you got to slow it down, put it on a popping cork. Don't be shy. Don't be so prideful that you can't use a popping cork because they work, man, and they'll catch both trout and redfish. Yep,
they'll catch them all around the edges of them potholes, them ambush points. They'll be draw them in.
It's all you need. And if I had a fourth, if I had a fourth, then obviously, I always have this is the Hedon Spook Junior. That's my favorite. Not gonna lie, that's bone and chrome or bone. That's it.
The holographic bone and chrome, one knocker and Spook Junior. Yep, I'm gonna have one of them all the time. Actually, that new one they have, that smaller that profile, that Boyo that Hedon's come out with on the calm days, man, I've straight smoked them on that thing.
I haven't tried that one, man.
When they wouldn't hit anything else, and they were small shad around, I threw the little it was like the blue and chrome colored ones. Oh man, they were straight smoking that thing. And then they have the hot head one, and they actually have a color they kind of copied some of Robbie Marsh's stuff from Coastal Marshes, what it looks like, some of his colors.
Oh, really?
They have one that kind of looks like high cotton and all that, but they're smaller than the Spook Junior, and they're a little different pitch, but you can still sling them with a bait caster. Putting them right in front of fish that had their backs out of the water and walking it, and it wasn't a big enough splash to spook them, and they were just absolutely clobbering it.
I gotta try that. No, I'm all about new stuff, man. I'm on it. Definitely. It's called the Boyo.
The Boyo, Boyo. It's that new head and spook series. Head and Boyo. Yeah, they're good to go, man.
Boss.
Yeah.
I'll give you a report.
Oh yeah, the light wind days, the super slick days, it was excelling in those because when you get a little more chop on the water, you definitely got to upsize, and sometimes you need something a little louder to draw them up. But man, on them slick days over potholes along the grass lines, man, they've been straight smoking that thing.
Hey man, I'm a big believer. Big fish like little baits, man.
Oh yeah,
big fish like little baits. Sometimes
you draw it down and size down a little bit, you'd be surprised, throwing a softeen, the little smaller ones, or the smaller double D instead of the XL. Sometimes they just want that bait, that right size bait to come to them. Man, they'll just slam that thing. Well, man, dude, I appreciate you coming on the show tonight, talking a little bit about Fin Factory and the guide services and rigging, a little bit about the tournaments and everything. So everybody out there in coastal Texas, Louisiana, y'all come on in for these tournaments, man. That Radio Mar, I know it's going to run in 2022. Keep your eyes posted on the Fin Factory Facebook page, Instagram for the info, because it'll be coming out pretty soon. That usually runs in the summer, July, August, sometime around in there, and hopefully we'll be blessed with some good weather this year. And
yes, sir.
We're going to work on a boondoggle for Texas, so I think we're going to
do it, baby.
Coastal wind boondoggle.
We're gonna do it. I promise you that. Justin, get ready, man.
Get ready. I'm gonna have to get drug into this one. I'm down for it, man. We're gonna promote the hell out of this thing.
Yes, sir.
It's gonna work.
Boondoggle.
Shoot, yeah. But yeah, at the end of the show, man, give the guest a chance to throw some shout outs out there, thank anybody, sponsors, anything like that. So yeah, man, Mike's yours, brother.
Man, hey, I just want to thank you. I want to thank you, Dustin. I mean, I've known you for a very long time. What you're doing, I really respect it. I love your social media presence. And the stuff you do out there, man. It's good, clean fun,
Appreciate it.
and I love it. And other than that, I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to come on to your podcast here. It's very rare that I do this. It's not because I don't want to. It's just nobody ever asks, So, I'm glad to do it. And it's not about promoting, us, the brand. It's about promoting the sport of kayak fishing because I love it, man. I've loved it since day one that I started it, and it's my passion. And if I didn't love it, I wouldn't do what I do.
Yep.
Guide fishing's hard work, man. Don't second guess that. For people who say that I want to be a guide, man, it's hard work, and the only reason why I still do this is because I love it. And so, at the end of the day, thank you, sir. And thank you, Paddle and Finn for inviting us out and for letting us talk a little bit about the sport of kayak fishing. That's all I want to say.
Cool deal, man. Well, yeah. Thanks again for coming on the show tonight. And once again, a big thank you to all the listeners that tune in, or if you're watching it on YouTube or what have you. Thanks to show sponsors, Waterloo Rods. Hit them up, waterloorods.com. Get your custom rods built, shipped you directly if you are not in the area. And then True Store & Co., your clothing for on the flats, chasing big trout. You can get in on that. And we'll catch y'all next time on Chasing the Tide.